We are probably live. Hey, Pastor Shane here, Calvary Chapel, Lake Stevens. We are a community of people responding to the gospel, living in freedom, and growing in the grace of God. God's grace, so good. We're committed to communicating God's love and plan for people and making disciples through His Word. That's what we do. We go through the Word, God's Word. Quick devotion for you today, or just a short encouragement wanted to give you out of that. I just wanted to also, though, I wanted to encourage you in this time, prayer. And you've heard it. I know you've heard it. And I just want to continue to promote that, to be praying. There's lots to pray for, but there's this whole idea praying for all of our first responders, firefighters, police officers, what they're going through, praying for our school teachers, and just the difficulty they're going through, praying for all of these things. Our missionaries, we just met with some missionaries last night, and everybody has normal difficulties, and there's difficulties in this life, and there's challenges in this life, but then you add COVID-19 to it, and it makes it that much more difficult. And so just be in prayer. Let's take these things in prayer. We're going to see that today, and this is actually what Ezra did. We had a great study last night. Joel Jurdy took us through Ezra chapter 8 in our midweek study. So if you haven't tuned in, you didn't know, we're going through Ezra and Nehemiah right now on Wednesday nights, rotating a couple teachers through, and Joel Jurdy was on last night. It was great, Ezra 8, and there was something there that rang my bell I wanted to bring out and touch on today. Ezra 8, verse 21 says, "Then I proclaimed a fast there at the river of Ahava, that we might humble ourselves before our God, to seek from Him a safe journey for us, our little ones, and all of our possessions." Ezra's taken off. He's coming back to Jerusalem to complete some work that's going on there and the rebuilding of the place of worship. We see in Nehemiah, they're going to restore the walls in Jerusalem. And he's coming back loaded. He's got 6,000 some odd people with him, and they've got millions. They're traveling with millions of, we would say dollars. They're coming with stuff for the temple that was given to them out of the royal treasury there to restore the temple, this place of worship. And so they're traveling across the country, and they've got all this stuff with them, and it's dangerous. And what we see here is something modeled for us that I think is so important. Ezra's in a coming up against something that's difficult, something that's unknown. And what does he do there? He says right there in verse 21, we're going to go before our God. We're going to humble ourselves before our God. And we're going to seek Him for safety on our journey, and for our little ones and our possessions. He humbled himself. He took leadership and led the people to humble themselves before the Lord. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 says, "Younger men likewise be subject to your elders, and all of you clothe yourself with humility towards one another, for God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you." That was one thing that came up in Ezra chapter 7 and chapter 8. I talked about this last week, was the good hand of the Lord was on them. Good hand of God was upon Ezra and the Israelites coming back to do this work. Here he says, cast your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. Exalt, he says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you at the proper time. Humble himself before the Lord. Cast your anxieties. Jesus says in Matthew 23, verse 12, "Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." As Ezra led a fast. A fast would be something that you would do to focus. You'd set aside something to get clarity and focus in seeking the Lord. And so as they purpose themselves to seek the Lord, as they purpose themselves to humble themselves before the Lord, to seek safety and provision for their little ones and the possessions, God's good hand was upon them, and he exalted them. And it says there at the end of Ezra 8 that they arrived safe and sound and took all the possessions and gave it there to the priest at the temple, gave it to the temple work, and then they had a great feast. They had a great sacrifice to the Lord of praise and thanksgiving. Let me ask you, when was the last time you humbled yourself before the Lord? Consider this today as you go about your week, as you go about your day. Consider the last time. When was the last time you humbled yourself before the Lord? Come to the God and humble yourself before him. That exalts him. It puts you, he must increase, I must decrease, as John says. Humble yourself before the Lord. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you. Just want to encourage you in that. And I pray that God will bless you and take care of you and your family. As you humble yourself before the Lord, you'll see his provision of him taking care of you. All right, God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.